This is the Our Voice 360 podcast, our perspectives, our way, keeping you in the know while you're on the go. This podcast was created with you in mind. On Our Voice 360, we'll give you inspiration, sports, business and leadership tips, Black history, and entertainment. This is a show built from our perspectives. So if you're ready to be entertained, inspired, laugh a little, be informed, and enlightened, tune in now to Our Voice 360. Let's go! Hey, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of Our Voice 360, our perspectives, our ways. I'm here, one of the hosts. My name is Chad Bumgarner, and I have with me my man, Pete Hunt.
What's good, family?
Hey, Pete, with that, let's go ahead and get into it, man.
And as always, our podcast is brought to you by Elect Graphics and Photography. Allow your visions to become reality. And CDB Consulting. Great leadership equals great results. How are you leading?
And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if there is something you want to hear on the podcast, or you want to tell us what you feel about the podcast or what you think or anything of that nature, please do not hesitate to contact us at our email address, ourvoice360@gmail.com. That's ourvoice360@gmail.com. All right, Pete, today we're touching a hot topic, I guess you could say, to some extent. We're talking about the student athletes now who are able to get sponsorships from companies instead of waiting to go pro and then getting endorsements. Endorsements. Now they can get it straight out of college, while they're in college, and sometimes before they even step on a college campus. And I guess you're going to break down the rules on that, and we're going to talk about, I guess, the pros and cons, or how it can affect the school or the student or the family, things of that nature. So that's going to be an interesting topic to get into. I can't wait to talk about that one. Then we're going to transition into these Trumpers, man. They've been on various outlets, obviously right-wing outlets, talking about coming back to the Capitol. The dates are all over the place, anywhere from the August 16th, 17th, 18th. Nobody can seem to get a consistent date. So sometime within that time frame period, supposedly Trump was already supposed to be back in office this month. I don't know what Kool-Aid he's sipping on, but we'll touch on that. And also we'll talk about some a particular dramatic situation with this one dude, unfortunate too, and very sad because of his enlightenment with QAnon conspiracies or whatever. So, all right, Pete, let's go ahead and dive into it. So the NIL has had this ruling. And for the longest, this has been an issue for student athletes about them getting paid, so to speak, in the form of sponsorship, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so now that the law has been passed, or it's been passed for some time now, I guess, now you have a lot of college athletes getting endorsements quicker than you can say Division I. From car dealerships to restaurants to Nike and Adidas to tech companies, you name it. Everybody's trying to latch on to these kids for a big payday, and at the same time, it's somewhat of a blessing to the kid too, because a lot of these kids who are student athletes that are coming to school on scholarship come from humble or meager beginnings, and so being put in a situation like this where they can get sponsorships and large sums of money, it's a huge payday for them. They're able to help their family out. There's a lot of things that they can do,
right?
But at the same time, does it cause a problem on the team? Does it cause a problem for the coach? So I don't want to get too far into it. I want you to come in and break down the rule for us, for those who are not very familiar, and then we'll jump into the pros and cons, or how it's going to affect the kids and the family and the schools.
Right. The NCAA a couple months back made a ruling of finally allowing players, student athletes, to garner money from their NIL, which means name, image, and likeness. And overall, the rule should have been in place a long, long time ago. But the NCAA is their job is to keep student athletes broke. So anybody, if say Chad, we're regular students on campus, we can go get a job. We can
Mm-hmm.
go, do X, Y, and Z to earn money. I mean, we can even take internships that pay if we're just regular students.
Mm-hmm.
But if we're athletes, at there was a time where that was not possible. You couldn't get paid. You couldn't get. I mean, guys were getting money. Please believe it. Boosters were, lining pockets of high profile players. Please believe it, under the table,
Mm-hmm.
sight unseen. The good old handshake. Good game today, Johnny. And they've slid them $1,000 in their hand. I mean,
So it's
that
always been
yeah,
going
yeah, it's
on. This is
always been
just
going
legal
on.
now.
Yeah, exactly. They've just made it a situation where these young people can make money off their name, image, and likeness now. And a lot of guys have, and young ladies have taken this and ran with it, as
As
they
they
should,
should.
as
Yeah.
they should. I mean, this is an opportunity to make some money, and money that they deserve to make, because the just football alone is $1 billion business for the NCAA,
Right. Right.
between ticket sales and all this other stuff, and TV contracts and all of these colleges and the NCAA are making money hand over fist. So let's pay the workers, or allow the workers to make some money. And I think it's a great rule. And like I said, a lot of these men and women, I mean, immediately when the rule was enacted, I mean, at like 12 o'clock, they were getting deals.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, here in North Carolina, I mean, we've had several, uh, you know, football players be sponsored by a restaurant here that's very popular in North Carolina called Bojangles.
Right. Right. I
Yeah,
saw
so
that one.
so so
Yeah.
so several uh, uh, football players have been sponsored by Bojangles, and like you said, car dealerships and of the sort have put their name and backing behind certain players. And I mean, even one player, the quarterback down at Alabama, who hasn't set foot on the field,
Right.
is already garnering almost seven figures off of his name, image, and likeness.
Well,
So,
we were talking off air, and I was telling you about Hersey Miller. Master P's son. He
hmm
signed a $2 million endorsement with some tech company.
hmm
And he's attending Tennessee State University playing basketball. But he
hmm
did this, even like you said, even before he stepped on campus.
right. hmm
You know what I mean? University of Miami quarterback Derek King, he signed an endorsement with College Hunks Hauling Junk and Moving and Murphy Auto Group, two
hmm
different companies.
right.
Um, and then the owner of a fitness gym down in Florida offered the team, the University of Miami, $500 a month for I guess to go work out there, or up to $6,000 in an endorsement package. Although the players have reportedly not accepted the deal just yet, and I'm pretty sure it's only a matter of time.
hmm
I mean, if I'm not a significant player and I still get an opportunity to be a part
hmm
of an endorsement, why would I not take that?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So, and back to what you said earlier about, um, you know, illegal endorsements have always been going on. With the boosters, great job. Here's $1,000 or
Mhm.
$1,500 or $800 or whatever.
Right.
Um, I think now with with this deal being signed, it takes a big relief or a headache off the teams and the boosters who were
hmm
doing this on the slide. Now I can do it out front.
Right.
Especially
Right.
the boosters that own companies. It's like,
hmm
I no longer have to be slick about it. Now I can just go ahead
hmm
and sponsor the
hmm
guy or the group of guys or the girls on the basketball or swimming or
hmm
whatever, and we're
hmm
okay now. So
Right. Right.
and NCAA, this has always been an issue.
Mm-hmm.
So even though a lot of people don't like it, for the NCAA, in my opinion, it's like, whew, now we don't have to investigate and keep going after these schools and trying to bust them
Mm-hmm.
because it was still going to keep going on. They were
Oh
just going
yeah.
to find
Yeah.
even more slicker ways to do it. But
Mm-hmm.
now they don't have to do that. So now the
Mm-hmm.
pressure's off the NCAA.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
See, but the thing is, if you're not a high profile player,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be kind of hard to get an endorsement deal because your name is not, say you're uh, the guard for Wisconsin and don't nobody know who you are. Nobody knows this offensive lineman from Wisconsin. So
Right.
you may be hard pressed to get a deal, but the quarterback and running back or wide receiver or whoever may get that easier. So that becomes a problem, and it may cause tension in the locker room. Who knows? But
Yeah.
the NCAA, I'm finally glad that the NCAA are allowing these young people to at least make money off their name.
Yeah,
Their
because they've
name,
been making
yeah,
money off their name for eons.
yeah, since it started from the beginning. I mean, again, the NCAA's job before this was to keep these young folk broke. No, you can't even work at the pizza parlor. You can't even work at Domino's. You know what I'm saying? For extra money. But
You can't
I
even
mean,
sign autographs for money. Nothing.
yeah, it's crazy. But the slick thing the NCAA did though, by making this ruling, they really don't have to pay the athletes if you really look at it, because at the end of the day, you're still not paying your labor. NCAA is not paying their labor.
Mm. They're
They're
getting
just they
indirect payment.
Yeah, they're getting indirect payment because they can use their name and likeness. The NCAA need to be paying athletes. That's
Well,
your
see,
labor force.
now that you say this, it kind of opens up another light for me because my thing is, you're right. They're still not paying. And that was a heated issue for the longest. So I think they're
Mm-hmm.
saying now that, okay, let's let
Mm-hmm.
them have endorsement. That takes the light
Mm-hmm.
off of us,
But
still
exactly.
getting free labor
Yeah, we're still
and
getting free labor.
and,
But
and, and
yeah,
still getting the TV contracts and still getting money off of their
mhm,
image and likeness.
mhm.
But nobody's looking at us anymore because now they can make their money
Yeah, they can go out and make their own
sponsorship.
money.
Right.
Yeah, they go out
So
and make their own money.
NCAA
So
has still hadn't been, I guess you could say, dealt with.
forthright. Yeah. They still haven't been dealt with. They haven't been forthright about this issue.
Right.
They saw a back doorway of getting the pressure off of them.
Mm-hmm.
So because
Mm-hmm.
like I said, at the end of the day, you're still not paying your labor.
Right.
You're
Right.
still not cutting checks for the people who make you billions of dollars. And for those people who say, well, their tuition and and the education is their pay, okay, go to your job and let your job pay you in books. See what I'm saying? If it was
Mm-hmm.
that serious, pay the coaches, these coaches that's making $7, $8 million a year. Pay them in books. Pay them in education. See what I'm saying?
Right. 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 That's
And
true.
it's really funny how people take take the side of the oppressor. It's laughable to me.
Because
People are
we're
so
accustomed to doing it. You have to understand, and I shouldn't say you have to understand. You doggone well understand.
hmm
We have been whitewashed mentally for
hmm
over 400 years.
right.
So to reverse what's been done is going to take about the same amount of time, if not
hmm
longer. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
hmm
We're just accustomed to giving automatic credit to
hmm
the
hmm
oppressor.
Yeah.
That's just what we've always known to
hmm
do instead of stopping and saying, hey, wait a minute, let's think about this thing.
Well, and that's not even a race thing. That's just
It's
across the
not.
board. Yeah, that's for every. I mean, that's across
Right.
the board. Yeah. And
Exactly.
so it's just it's funny how people are taking the side of the NCAA and the kids are getting sponsorships and I'm not sponsorships but education and they did man forget all that. Cut me a check. Cut me a check. That's all. That's all I want. I work every day of the week. cut me a check. But like I said, it was a slick way for the NCAA to, get the pressure off their back, because now these young men and young women can go out and make some money off of their name and likeness, and which is still a good thing. But my thing to those young people, I just need you to pay your taxes, because
Please.
we don't want you to go down the line 5, 6, 7, 8 years down the line, and them folk come knocking at your door.
Yeah,
I'm
because you're
talking
gonna
about,
always have some haters that you got the endorsement or
yeah,
that you got the sponsorship, and
mm,
somebody's
yeah,
always gonna be looking for a way for you to fall. So I agree with you on that, Pete. As soon as you start making money, you're gonna start making haters. So be smart about it. Get you a
mm,
financial advisor, get you an
mm,
agent, people around you that you feel you can trust. Do your due
mm.
diligence, and just stay on top of the money game, because that's what money is. It's a game.
Yeah. So and on top of that, Chad, let me add this before we move on to the next subject. Um, if I'm a high school player, if I'm one of these 5-star high school football, basketball players, baseball players, whatever the sport is, coming out of high school, I already have my financial advisor, I already have, what deals lined up. I mean, that's coming out of high school.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we have a basketball league now called Overtime Elite, who are paying guys straight out of high school 6 figures, 7 figures, depending on what level you are. Coming straight out of high school. I saw an article the other day where two brothers who are juniors were able to fast track and get their high school diploma,
Mm-hmm.
and they both signed 7-figure deals with Overtime Elite Basketball, this new basketball league,
I think I've seen
at
something about that.
at
Yeah.
at 18 years old.
Is it kind of like the alternate to the NBA, or is it
Yeah,
like a
yeah,
G
yeah,
League or?
yeah, like a G League, but
Okay.
they paying a lot more. They paying a lot more money.
Obviously,
Yeah, so
yeah,
yeah, so yeah. I mean, there are avenues now that these young people can make money, and it's a great thing. It's a
it
great thing.
is.
Yeah,
It is.
yeah.
But we're not gonna move out this subject just yet, Pete, because I got about two more questions that I
Okay.
want to discuss with you about. The next one is as far as these students receiving sponsorships or endorsements. I keep saying sponsorship, but endorsements, right?
Hmm.
Don't you think, or would you think that other players on the team that maybe don't have them yet, it would make the other players on the team work a little harder? It's like, hey, I want an endorsement too. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, possibly. I mean, it just depends on the mentality of the player. I mean,
Hmm.
for me, it wouldn't make me work any harder, because I would already have the drive and the work ethic, because I have a goal of making whatever professional league that's good, whether it's the NFL or NBA or the MLB, or whatever league, or Major League Soccer, or whatever it is
Right.
the case may be. I mean, that's my ultimate goal. So my work ethic is already there, but it may influence other guys and young ladies to, work harder to, get their name up. So I mean, that is a possibility.
Would you use that as a motivational tactic as a college coach?
Oh, for sure. If I'm Nick Saban at Alabama, oh yes, that in recruiting. Oh, that's. Thank you for opening up this door, because guess what? When you come in, I already have these car dealerships lined up for you. I already got these restaurants deals lined up for
Mm-hmm.
you. You see what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying?
Mm-hmm.
I already got all these deals lined up for you. So if you come to Alabama, guess what? This is what you're looking at, or
Right.
or Florida, or North Carolina, or Syracuse, or whoever the school
Right.
is. I mean, dude, as far as basketball, if I'm Coach K, well, I know he's leaving. This is his final year, but if I'm John Shire, the guy that's coming after Coach K,
Yeah.
look, hey, in my recruiting speech, guess what? When you come to Duke, you got Checkers, you got Bojangles, you got X, Y, and Z. You got These are the companies that you can work with to get your
Right.
money up. Oh yeah, that is a great recruiting tool, especially for these bigger schools. These prominent D1s. Oh yeah,
But
I'm using all of that.
is it not also a challenge for these coaches too? Because I say that because when you throw money into the mix with
Hmm.
anybody,
Oh yeah,
Money only enhances the type of person you already are, whether
exactly.
you're a kind-hearted giant or
Mm-hmm.
whether you're a complete a-hole.
Mm-hmm.
So colleges, I mean, coaches now, I'm not gonna say now, they've done it for some time, but a bigger emphasis now with coaching would probably be on behavior.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because
Mm-hmm.
money to a young kid, excuse me, can really make his or her head swell, and
Mm-hmm.
they turn into something that sometimes could almost be uncontrollable.
Yeah. It's gonna it's gonna be some of these bigger college athletes as far as name recognition. They may have an issue with them because if I'm pulling in four, $500,000, $600,000, and I'm in college, what Nick Saban gonna say to me? You see
See,
what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying?
that's my yeah.
Yeah.
That's where
So
I'm
so
going with
so
this.
so that could possibly, yes, you are exactly right. That could possibly be an issue.
But if
Well,
I'm Nick Saban at the same time, I could tell him I'm like, yeah, you're making 6 or 7 million now for an endorsement, but you have the potential to go to the NBA and make a lot more, and then really set yourself up for the future.
mm,
Because nothing makes more of a statement than a $6 or $7 million student on endorsements getting cut from the team or dropped from the team because of behavior or whatever else.
mm,
And I think, and I hate to say it, but that may have to happen in the horizon for the rest of them to realize, like, hey, okay, I'm getting endorsements, but I still need to be a team player. I still need to be, you
mm,
know, X, Y, and Z because
right.
just like I was given it,
Mm,
it can be taken away. And I'm pretty sure these companies that are dishing out these endorsements have
mm,
a sit down. It's like, hey, we like you, we think you're a good player, blah 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 blah, but we need you to stay in a positive light. We need you to stay out of trouble.
mm,
At least I'm
right.
hoping, that's what they're
Oh
doing
yeah, I'm
because
sure. Yeah, I'm sure that they are. But again, I mean, for a lot of these guys, we're not going to be talking about millions of dollars. Well,
right.
in a lot of these guys' cases, I mean, we may not even be talking millions of dollars for anybody
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of these places that these endorsements that these guys are getting are like local mom and pop type situations.
Except
You
for
know,
Hersey Miller.
yeah, I mean, then you have some of those larger name guys that getting the Bojangles and the tech companies and this, that, and the third. But for the most part, I've seen the majority of the guys I've seen getting and young ladies getting deals are from like your local your local town spots. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, but you do have some of these players that's getting major deals from major companies, which and which then turns into you make them making six, seven, 800,000, maybe even $1 million before they leave the college campus.
Mm-hmm.
So again, for those high level players, I think there may be some issues or could possibly be issues between players and coaches because if I'm already making paper,
Right.
how you gonna tell me? How you gonna be yelling and screaming at me and this, that, and the third, and I'm already making $300,000? I'm thinking,
Mm-hmm.
you see what I'm saying? So that could be an issue with certain, but certain coaches have such a aura about them
Mm-hmm.
that they're going to be able to override whatever you make.
Well, Pete. Okay, since we're on this subject because we're dealing with because right now we're talking about coaches being able to deal with potential huge egos with these sponsorships or endorsements. How do these endorsements affect the family? Because I'm looking at this like a lot of these kids that are coming in under scholarship, like I said
Mm-hmm.
earlier, I think it was off air. They come from humble beginnings. They don't
Mm-hmm.
really have a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so even a $700,000 endorsement, $500,000 endorsement is huge.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
Yeah.
like I remember mentoring this young man, and it was really sad because he had decent skills when it came to playing football as far as quarterback is concerned. But it's like his mom and all of his sisters were really on him about playing because they wanted him to go pro, and he did too. But as he got into high school, he just felt more and more of the pressure on him
Mm-hmm.
to go to a big school and then go pro
Mm-hmm.
because the goal was based on his mom and all his sisters that he's gonna go pro and make it, and he's gonna take care of all of us. And me personally, I feel like be that pressure should not be on that young person to
Mm-hmm.
do. He should not be responsible for having to take care of an entire family
Mm-hmm.
when everybody's able-bodied to go to work and make a
Mm-hmm.
living. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
it's like, and I've met a lot of these kids, and the pressure is so hard. It's more pressure on them from their family, and the family don't even know they're putting the pressure on them. But it's more pressure from their family than it is
Mm-hmm.
from the coach and the team and the
Mm-hmm.
NCAA in general. And the young man finally was like, "Unc, I don't." He called me Uncle Chad. He said, "Unc, I just don't even want to play no more." He said, "What I really want to do is investment trading. I want to go to school and learn how to, trade, do investment trading, and be an investment trader." And I told him, I said, "There's nothing wrong with that. That is a
Exactly.
great
Exactly.
living. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? You get the
Right.
education. That is a great and successful, outcome for you."
Right.
But he was like, he was scared to tell his mom and his sister that he didn't want to play no more. So it's like I had to go home with him and explain to them, look, it's not his responsibility to take care of y'all.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. It
Right.
really isn't. And of course the mom felt some kind of way about it, and she kind of got mad at me because she thought it was my idea. I said, no, ma'am, it's not my idea. He was scared to talk to y'all
Mm-hmm.
about this because he didn't know how y'all was gonna respond. But the boy wants to go to
Mm-hmm.
school to be an investment trader. He doesn't want to play ball anymore. Oh, they
Mm-hmm.
was hot with him. They was hot. I know he had to come stay with me for a while, but they were hot.
Oh wow. Yeah, it's as a young person, and when you're coming from a situation like that, it's either going to motivate you or break you.
Yeah.
In that case, it broke the young man. In some cases, it fuels people. I mean, you can listen to the story of Shannon Sharp,
Right.
where he bluntly states that, my sole purpose was to get my granny, that's what he called his grandmother, my granny,
Mm-hmm.
out of the situation she was in. He said that was my driving force. So he said that's what got me to the league was just that thought process of, making it better for my grandmother. So like a situation like that can either break a young person or push them forward. It just depends on the mentality of the student athlete we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So again, will these name, image, and likeness rules help these players? Of course it will.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of these guys that I'm seeing getting these deals are coming from homes that are, you know, pretty solid.
Pretty solid. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
you look at the Buddy Bayheims from Syracuse.
Mm-hmm.
Your daddy, the coach,
Right.
Jim Boeheim, been making $7 million for the past 30 years. So you straight.
Yeah. You are what they call you a trust fund kid.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I mean, some of these guys that's getting these deals are coming from pretty solid situations. So that's good too. But like I said, you're gonna have some guys who are getting these deals that's coming from situations where you know that mama and daddy, sister, brother, cousin are going to be on the handout tip. I need you to do X, Y, and Z. Now, if you're in a situation where your parents or your whoever's taking care of you is um, in a bad situation and you want to help them get out of that where they're living or whatever. I mean, that's totally up to you and I mean, in that kid. But a lot, like I said, a lot of these young people are coming from situations that not as bad or as bleak
Mm-hmm.
as it looks like. So,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
but again, when you get this money, you have to have you have to have a financial advisor. You have to pay taxes. You have to do all of that. You just can't go out here and get this deal and expect you can just spend all this money and Uncle Sam don't come knocking at your door.
Right.
You see
Right.
what I'm saying? So
Yeah. That's
again,
true.
just yeah, I just hope these young people take care of the money that they do receive and do it the proper way and have a financial advisor that's gonna allocate to them X, Y, and Z, and then get their taxes paid so they don't have to if they make it to the league and they in year 9 and somebody start taking money out of your account and you like what happened, and it's Uncle
Yeah.
Sam. You
Getting
didn't pay.
garnished.
Yeah, there you go, garnish your wages. Yeah, you didn't pay your taxes in 2021 when you got that name, image, and likeness deal.
Yeah,
So
because I'd hate for you to be out there flexing on the street and then the repo man come. That's not a good look.
bruh,
It's not a good
that's
look.
not a good look at all.
But I gotta clear something up because I was sitting here thinking about it. And I want to be as accurate as possible because we try to be a buck on the show. Let me back up a little bit. The young man that called me uncle, technically he went to stay with his auntie, but he spent a lot of time with me at my house. That's why I said he moved in, but he did not. Technically, he moved in with his aunt for a while because it got so heated. There was a lot of static, but I digress on that. But I just wanted to clear that up. But yeah, man, some families it can be a burden more than it can be a
Hmm.
help,
Hmm.
because money brings out
Hmm.
the best and the worst.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
and I
saying?
mean, and you look at grown NFL athletes running out of money. So imagine being 16, 17, 18 years old, and all of a sudden you get all of this money.
Yeah.
I mean, and
So
like I
what you
said,
think they
we
gonna do?
exactly. I mean, we've had grown men, NFL, NBA, whatever the case may be, go completely broke, file bankruptcy, and they were adults.
Right.
So imagine, fully grown wife, kids, this, that, and the
Yeah, the
third.
whole nine.
Yeah, yeah. So imagine being 17, 18 years old coming into this amount of money.
I'm really hoping with these endorsements that there's some kind of stipulation in place saying, we're gonna give you X amount of dollars as far as endorsement and other things, but
Hmm.
in order for us to do this, you got to have a financial person, or you got to
Right.
complete some kind of finance, something, hopefully,
Hmm.
that they have in place for these young kids, so these kids can understand you're not truly getting $800,000. You're
Right.
not truly getting the whole 2 million.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because
Right.
like you said, once Uncle Sam comes in, your manager, your financial person,
Hmm.
your agent,
Hmm.
if the check say 800,000, you probably getting five,
Yeah. Yeah.
something to that effect. So
Hmm.
uh, I just hope with all these kids that there's somebody being realistic with them and be like, hey, let me chop these numbers up so you'll understand what you're truly getting.
Exactly.
The public sees the big check, but the
Hmm.
public doesn't understand what goes on behind the scenes
Hmm.
for you to keep you safe. And I
Right.
say safe as far as, like you said, pay taxes, have a
Hmm.
financial person, all that stuff, have all that set up. But yeah, I'm wishing them the best. I'm agreeing with you. It's long overdue, but then again, the NCAA just found a way around it, and
Exactly.
they're still getting what they want, and it's life.
Yeah.
That's life. All right, man. Let's transition into this foolishness now. Supposedly, like you say, old boy, the previous president had claimed that he
Hmm.
was going to be back in office this month. The National Guard or the military was supposed to go up in the White House and yank out Biden and Kamala and reinstate
Hmm.
him. But here it is, the 15th of August of 2021, and he's still sitting on the sidelines complaining. Still peddling the big lie.
Hmm.
And now you have a lot of Trumpers on these right wing media stations talking about they're coming back to the Capitol. But like we talked off air, the dates are all over the place. They can't seem to give a consistent date. They're saying the 16th, the 17th, the 18th. So we don't know which day they
Hmm.
are. And maybe they're doing that on purpose to catch the Capitol off guard. I don't know. But
Hmm.
um, I'm hoping now that the Capitol Police, the Washington D.C. Police, the National Guard, and the FBI that they are taking notice of this information and preparing themselves accordingly. Because if not, you're gonna see part two of what we saw back on
Mm,
January 6th, and it's not funny. It's
mm,
just the fact that yeah, we've talked about this a dozen times, but how you know they were never prepared for these guys. But when Black Lives Matter just wanted to come up there and do a peaceful protest, they brought everything, including the kitchen sink. So
mhm.
I'm really hoping that they take heed. And Pete, you look at me like this some bug.
Chad, you see the expression on my face.
I do, I
You
do.
see the expression on my face. Do you actually really think that they're going to be prepared for anything like they prepare for black folk
If they
having a
don't, Pete,
having a peaceful protest?
do you know how embarrassing that's gonna look to us as far as the world is concerned? Because the world is watching now. The first time we got caught
No,
off guard, but now
bro,
everybody's watching.
bro, bro. We have been a laughing stock.
Well, that's true.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I mean,
That's true.
we have been a laughing stock since they elected old boy. So because countries were looking like, how in the world can you elect this guy? But anyway, yeah, I have reservations about them being prepared or even wanting to be prepared because
Hmm.
they had the warning signs before January 6th. I mean, it wasn't a secret.
Hmm.
I
That's
mean,
true.
old boy told him the date, what time to be up there, and all of this other stuff. So it was in the streets.
Mm.
It was over the interwebs.
Pete, where was it at again? It was where?
It was in the streets, dog. The streets was talking. The streets was talking, man.
He said the streets was talking. You're right. You're
Yeah.
right.
I mean, old boy basically told everybody, put it on his little Twitter handle and everything. I need y'all here January 6th for X, Y, and Z. They showed up. Everybody knew. I mean, CNN, all the camera people were there cause we already knew what was gonna happen. So it wasn't like they didn't know what was gonna happen. This wasn't a surprise. It wasn't a shock
Hmm.
because everybody already knew what was gonna happen. So I doubt very seriously that they're gonna do anything different than they did last time.
Hmm.
It may be a little more security because it's not the same people that's running the FBI and CIA and all of these agencies. But what are they going to do?
Hmm.
They're not. I mean, do you actually think they're going to do anything to those people? Uh, because I don't. I don't think they're going to do anything to those people.
Pete said
I
he
mean,
from the Missouri state. You got to show him.
yeah, you have to prove to me that you really care about doing something to these people. Because we all know what would have happened
Black
if
Lives Matter.
that matter would have done some. I mean, if they would have stepped out of line on the sidewalk wrong,
Hmm.
we know what would have been happening. Billy clubs and nightsticks and shields and rubber bullets and maybe even real bullets,
Tasers. Yeah.
tasers and all kind of stuff would have been rained down on people that look like us. So I'm not really confident that they'll be. I mean, like I said, it may be a stronger presence, but it still won't be the presence of how it was when Black Lives Matter went up there to have a peaceful protest. They're not going to have National Guard standing on the steps and all
Right.
this other stuff. No, no, they're not going to do that to their own. No, Chad. No, I mean, I'm just being real.
Pete,
I'm
they
just, I'm
to
just being
me.
honest.
Okay, let me say this. My hope is high because the optics on America, especially the government right now, is at an all-time high.
Hmm.
And one of the reasons is because of this supposedly incident that's supposed to take place on one of these 3 dates, if not later.
Mm-hmm.
Some kind of date that
Mm-hmm.
they're supposed to be coming up there. And I'm like, the Capitol Police, DC, they can't afford another embarrassment. Now I understand what you're saying because
Mm-hmm.
we're speaking on facts,
Mm-hmm.
historical facts.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's be clear.
Mm-hmm.
But to have another major embarrassment, another black eye in the same month, I don't know, Pete. Like I say, the damage that was done on January 6th will probably not be as high if they come back.
Mm-hmm.
But I think what they're gonna try to do is bully the crowd. What I say there, I mean the Capitol Police and Washington D.C. Police. And what I mean by bullying is have enough people up there to where they'll think twice before they start before something breaks out.
Nah. Nah, I can't see it happening, Chad. Again, they're gonna have to show it.
Mm-hmm.
That
Mm-hmm.
because I just don't trust it. Like I said, would it be a more um what's the word I'm looking for? A bigger security force? Sure, it'll be bigger, but I mean, if it pops off, do you actually think they're gonna do anything to those people? Well, look what happened
So you
even with
saying like it's gonna be more like last time? They'll be more on the defense than the offense, mainly just
yeah,
trying to hold people back instead of
yeah,
really
yeah,
like.
exactly. Because I mean, again, we know what would have happened if those same folk look like us. What would have happened? What would have happened? It
Yeah.
would have been blood. It still be blood running in the streets.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's just facts. They prepared themselves for these black folk to go crazy, and when it didn't, they looked stupid. So when January 6th popped off, and you're not prepared, and you know what's going on,
And they acted a fool.
and they acted a fool, and even after they acted a fool, you still didn't go get them. They posted up in hotels, bragging and talking smack, and yeah,
Talking
we
about they was
did
gonna
it,
go back.
and we going back, and we gonna do it again, and all of this other stuff. So I have no. I mean, it's honestly, Chad. I'm gonna be straight. I'm gonna be real with you. If it wasn't such a media outcry of people getting held accountable for the things that they did on January 6th, I don't think anybody gets arrested.
Mm.
I honestly, I don't. I don't think they go out of their way to go find these people. They're not going out of their way to, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, maybe the people like old boy that put his feet up on the desk, maybe they go after him because his face is on the camera. But even in that, he had his court date and he at home chilling.
Right.
A lot of
Right.
these people that have gotten court dates, they've gotten probation.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't even gotten real jail time. They've gotten probation.
And these were
They
supposed to be felony crimes.
exactly. So I mean, so what are we really talking about? So again, they've put it out there. What we gonna do? We're gonna be up there and we're gonna do what we're gonna do, and we're gonna see what's the response is gonna be. I don't see it being any different than it was on January 6th. Honestly, I don't see it being any different. Like I said, it may be a more robust military, not military, but police presence. But do I think they have the ability to run through them again like they did? Yeah, because guess what? They're not gonna do anything to them.
Mm-hmm.
They're not gonna hit them with billy clubs. They're not gonna shoot them.
They're
They're
not
not
gonna
gonna
lay them
have
down, huh?
they're not gonna have no rubber bullets out there to deal with those folk because that's home team.
Mm.
It's hard to go against home team. It's easy to shoot a rubber bullet at somebody that don't look like you because you have no empathy for them. You don't care anything about them. But when it's somebody that looks like you on your home team and you kind of have the same values as they got,
But it's hard to have the same values when they coming up against you. You see what I'm saying?
Chad.
How do we have
Did,
the same value?
Chad, did you see what happened January 6th? Do we need to go? Do we need to roll the tape? How passive if how
I got to.
passive you see
I
what I'm
got to
saying?
play. I got to play devil's advocate. I know you're getting hot, but I
And
got
that's
to. I
cool.
got
And
to
that's cool. And
say
I
that
know
because you're gonna have some listeners that are thinking that. So let's go ahead and put it out there.
okay, we're gonna
Let's go
put it
ahead and
out
put it
there
out there.
and we're gonna debunk it. Do we need to roll the tape? Do we need to
What we
roll the
gonna do,
tape?
Pete? What we
We're
gonna do?
gonna debunk it. That's what we're gonna do. I've been reading. but for real, I mean
No, I agree with you.
yeah. I mean, a lot of those officers
Yeah.
had that same mindset, and it didn't get real
You know
until
what it really looked like? It really looked like brother fighting brother, like the oldest against the youngest. The youngest was mad and out of control. The big brother was just, you know how you see the show, how he's holding his head while the brother's doing like this?
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
That's what it looked like. I don't
mm-hmm,
want to hurt you, dude. I don't want to hurt you, little bro. Just go
mm-hmm,
ahead and get your anger out of the way.
mm-hmm,
And that's what it looked like. Because based on what you're saying, that's what it looked like. Because like you said, when Black Lives Matter was there, they looked like they're about to step into Armageddon. They were armed to the teeth,
yep,
looking like said you do. I wish
yeah, exactly, exactly,
somebody would.
yeah,
But
mm-hmm,
like you said, if you roll the tape and look at it, there's more just defending than there
mm-hmm,
is retaliating.
mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
They hitting you with the flag, and they hitting you with bear spray, and you hadn't pulled out your billy club, ain't thought
How are
about
you
pulling
a
it.
visitor? How are you a how are you a visitor to the Capitol? Right, a peaceful visitor to the Capitol. I'm gonna pack my family up, or me and my boys are gonna go to the Capitol and visit the Capitol, and we're gonna bring bear spray.
I mean, you had snipers on the roof looking at this, and you ain't took one shot. You ain't. I mean, these your fellow brothers that's getting their heads split open and drugged down steps by these people and hit with stuff, and nah, I can't take the shot. I can't, cause they look like me.
Scary thing is, several of the peaceful protesters, quote unquote, were ex-military. So
Yeah,
now,
ex-military police officers. Oh yeah, they all up in the mix.
mm,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
see,
because like
this is what we have been saying for years to the government. These types of people have infiltrated the government, the military,
mhm,
local,
they just took the
state,
hoods off.
local police, and they no, that's not true. We don't see that's not true. But if you look at some of these people that they're bringing to court because of the insurrection, a lot of a good deal of them were ex-military, like the lady who got killed. She was
Mhm,
I want to say Air Force or something like that, Army or something like that. She tried to
mhm,
jump in through the window and got popped in the chest.
and now she's become a martyr for them. I mean,
Right.
even senators are like they shouldn't have done what they did. Okay, so
But they
they
coming
would
for
they
you. They
don't care nothing
coming
about
for you.
they don't care nothing about that. Chad, they home team. They home team. So you don't want to do nothing against home team. We're gonna big up home team. We're gonna make her a martyr. This, that, and the third. So I mean, if and the security person, whatever level of security he was, did his job.
Hmm.
My job is to keep you out this hallway
That's it.
because down that hallway is them folk. So guess what? I warned you. I warned you. I warned you. Come on through, Pop. Okay.
And if you
Have a.
notice, once she got popped, they stopped beating on that door.
Mm-hmm. Oh, this real.
They stopped
Mm-hmm.
beating on that door.
Exactly. So again, I guarantee you, and not wishing nobody get that hot lead put in them, but if somebody would have took a shot at somebody
Hmm.
outside, we don't have this issue. Because I guarantee you, if it was the Black Lives Matter and they would have got shot, it would have been all over the news. They deserved it.
Oh yeah.
They shouldn't have done. They shouldn't have been there. This, that, and the third. Yada yada yada. So again, I doubt very highly that anything changes. If they try to bum rush the Capitol, I don't see it going any different. I don't see it. I see them running up in the Capitol again. I mean, I don't see any difference because you're not gonna flex on home team.
Hmm.
How is that gonna make us look that we shot up all these white people? How is this gonna look? You know what I'm saying? So I mean, I don't see it any different as far as that's concerned. But again, let's get back to the absurdity of these people. I mean, you really thought they were going to reinstate old boy? You believe that? You really thought the military was running the country and they were going to run up in and basically overthrow the president that's the president now, Joe Biden. You really thought they were going to do that. You've drunk enough Kool-Aid to think that. It's amazing.
It
It's
is.
it's
It's amazing what
amazing.
people believe.
It is amazing how when somebody comes out of the woodwork and touches the heart of a certain group of people, and when that person is talking the same language that they're talking as far as bigotry and racism and all of these things, and embolden these people because this is who they really were, but
Hmm.
they really couldn't express it the way they really wanted to. So then a person comes along like old boy who was like, I don't care about none of y'all. I don't care about, I'm gonna do what I want to do. I'm gonna be who whatever. I have no rules, no decorum, none of that. So those same people that see that and have those same type feelings, they feel emboldened to do what they did like on January 6th. They feel emboldened to go out and have rallies and beat up people while the police look at them like you can go ahead and beat them up because the police is on their side too.
But you know what? The dangerous thing about that is you have a sect of people who value feelings more than they value truth. And that's what old boy did when he came. Like you said, he spoke their language. He was
Mm-hmm.
going off of feelings.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And they connected with those feelings.
Mm-hmm.
And none of them thought for a second, okay, how much of this is really true? They don't care about truth.
They don't care about truth.
Okay. The only
Truth.
thing they care about is he feels what I
I
feel.
feel.
And what
Yeah.
I feel is
Feel.
right.
Right. Yep. Exactly.
You know what I'm
Exactly
saying?
right, sir. Yes, sir.
Regardless of how much proof and fact you put in front of them, that ain't what I feel. What I feel is this, and what I feel
Mm-hmm.
is right. I don't care about your truth.
Mm-hmm.
Those
And
people are dangerous.
yeah, I mean, and you can look at it, Chad, from the situation of what they're doing, like in Texas, who is the state that makes our textbooks for our children.
Hmm.
See what they're doing to our textbooks, and this effort now to stop black and brown people from voting, and you can't talk about history, real history. If you talk about history, you have to make it where
We're seen in a good light.
yeah, white people are seen in a good light. That they wasn't they wasn't slave owners. That we know you can't teach that. If you teach that, we could fire you, or we can defund your school, or we can X,
Because
Y,
you're
and
trying
Z.
to make us hate ourselves.
But yeah,
No,
because no, we're
that's
telling you the
not the
truth.
case. Right. It's all about the entire truth. The America that you see today as somewhat of a powerhouse, it used to be the powerhouse, right? But America that you see today has advanced so quickly than any other country in this world because of slavery.
Hmm.
No other country has advanced as fast as we have,
Hmm.
and that is because of
Free
slavery.
labor. Yeah, free labor. Free
Free
labor. When you don't
labor.
have, just like the NCAA, you can keep them billions of dollars. Let's put it towards that. If you don't understand what we're talking about, we
Mm,
just talking about the NCAA. Has made billions upon billions of dollars off of free labor. It's
mm-hmm.
the same thing with slavery. This country made billions upon billions of dollars off of free labor. It was the same thing. That's how, like you said, Chad. That's how this country developed so quickly.
Right.
You don't have to pay the people that's building the country, and you keep all the money. That's why there's only 10. That's why there's 10 families that run. I'm not gonna say run the country,
Mm.
but that dominate the monies in this country.
The
10
market,
families.
yeah.
10 families dominate this country as far as financials in this country. So I mean, again, he taught their language. He emboldened them. He
Mm-hmm.
made them feel like, we are better than
Mm-hmm.
than the rest of these people.
Mm-hmm.
So again, when we're talking about them coming back to the capital or whatever, they're not going to hurt home team. They're not hurting
Mm-hmm.
home team because a lot of those Capitol police officers and all of those people have the same feeling base. Have the same feeling base. So of course we're going to open that gate for them and let them run in. Of course we're going to open the front door and tell them you can't come in here with a
Right.
real passive voice.
Wink, wink.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So again, oh, Chad, and I
Yeah.
know it was another point you were going to talk about. I know before we move on to the end of the show, the book of the week and an inventor of the week.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we were discussing off air about the gentleman who murdered
Yeah.
his children.
Yeah. Over QAnon, quote
QAnon.
unquote, enlightenment. He was enlightened by something that they said or, put out on their site or whatever have you, to the point where what did he do, Pete?
He murdered his children, saying that in the article that I read that QAnon enlightened him that his children were monsters,
Mm-hmm.
and his children were going to run rampant in the world and kill a bunch of people and take over the world.
Mm-hmm.
So you took your babies to Mexico, a toddler and a newborn,
And a newborn. Yeah.
and you gonna spear them in their chest.
Mm-hmm.
Shoot them with spears. A toddler
And a
and a
newborn.
newborn.
Mm-hmm.
Because of some foolishness that you heard from QAnon. And then Chad, what really takes the cake in that situation, the article that I was reading, the picture on the front of the article was him, his wife, and his babies. Not his
Right.
mugshot.
Right. Right. So you're gonna take
But
this animal and make him look like a family man. So now they're gonna spin it. I already know how the outlook's gonna be. Now they're gonna spin it. Well, he didn't know what he was doing. He's mentally unstable.
mm-hmm,
You
mm-hmm,
know, not if you flip the script, if he was a man of our hue, then he would be considered an animal, a
mm-hmm,
crazy thug, or
mm-hmm.
whatever the case is.
Yeah.
The thing is, and I'm not deviating from the story, but the thing is, you really have to pay attention to the language
Mm-hmm,
with the media when they
mm-hmm,
describe certain people of certain hues.
mm-hmm.
Now, you watch what I say. They're gonna make this man out to be a mental case. He's a loving guy. He was misguided,
I did, yeah. The Christian,
Judeo Christian.
yeah.
Or
They'll throw
oh yeah,
them murder. They was Christian in church and fun loving and loved his
hmm
wife and his kid. He just murdered his babies.
cold
No,
blood.
that ain't what he is. He a
Mm-mm.
murderer.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he is. So let's take the family pictures off the front of the article and call him what he is. He's a murderer. He murdered his babies over a conspiracy from what somebody else told him that his children were monsters. His children were
When
going to be monsters.
when responsible adults already know that over half the information out on the internet is not accurate, is
Mm-hmm.
not even close to it, not even true.
Mm-hmm.
You, sir, decide to take this information literal and to the heart as the quote unquote Bible,
And
and you
murdered your
go
baby.
out and you murder your seed. You
Okay.
kill your legacy.
Yeah. Yeah.
All because of some stuff you read and you think,
Mm-hmm.
but you have no idea for it to be true.
Exactly. Woo. That's what we dealing with right now, brother. That's what
And
we
that's why I
dealing with.
said cats like that don't look at truth. They just look at he's saying what I believe.
Right.
and what I believe is
Believe is
right.
right.
That's the
Exactly right.
prime example of what I've been talking about, Pete. People
Hmm.
like that are dangerous.
Yep.
Dangerous, not only to, his community, but to the entire country. People like that are very,
Mm.
very dangerous. Very
Yep.
dangerous.
Yep.
But all right, man, let's transition into the book of the week. What do you have for us, sir?
The book of the week this week is by Cornell West, Race Matters. That is the book of the week this week. It was written in 1993, and some of the things that's in this book are relevant today. Actually, a lot of what's in this book is relevant today, and the way that Brother West breaks down how race in, influences a lot of things, whether it's government, whether it's politics, whether it's economics. He even touches on race and spirituality in this book. So again, this week's book of the week is Race Matters by Dr. Cornell West.
Hmm. I have to check that one out, man,
Oh
because
yeah, yes, yeah.
he's a very, very educated and enlightened, I'll
Mm-hmm.
say, brother.
Mm-hmm.
Um, hmm. Definitely got to check that out. Okay. Well, I appreciate that, Pete. So y'all
Yes,
know
sir.
the book to go get to enlighten yourself and to you know, get yourself thinking, because it's important for us to think.
Right. Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? It's very important for us to think.
Mm-hmm.
So I was trying to while you were talking, I was trying to, let me see. I wanted to pull this up. I don't know if it's showing, but I wanted to show the people the book, Race Matters by Cornell West.
Yep.
So, all right. So now we're going to move into the section where we talk about the Black inventor of the week. And I want to, and I know we all are going to enjoy this one. Uh, this lady is now 73-year-old world class American physicist who has made a name for herself. She was the first African American woman to earn a PhD from Massachusetts Institute of Technology. Uh, Her name, I'm trying to give out her accolades, but I'm just gonna go ahead and get to it because I know a lot of us are very happy about this invention. Her name is Dr. Shirley Ann Jackson. So I would like for you guys to meet the black woman who invented the caller ID.
Thank you, Miss Jackson.
Ah, my man. If there was ever a question about who and what changed the world at any point, then the name of 73-year-old Dr. Ann Jackson would come up even more than once. She made a huge name for herself when she uh, when she came up with the caller ID. Very accomplished lady.
Mm-hmm.
I would admonish everyone to look her up because that wasn't the only invention. But for me, that was probably one of the biggest that we
Oh
could
yeah.
relate to and really be,
Oh yeah, for sure.
really be, really be thankful for.
For
Uh, you
bill
know, that's-
collectors are upset at Miss
you,
Jackson.
yeah, they hate the day she got that patent. But yes, Dr. Shirley Ann Jackson, the black woman who invented caller ID. So big ups to her. Like I said, she has many more um,
Hmm.
inventions, but we know this one to be significant
Oh
and
yeah.
very much helpful uh,
Used on a
to
daily
to
basis.
all of us. Yes, used on a daily, but even on your cell phone when somebody's
Oh
calling,
yeah.
you have that comfort of knowing who it is before you even pick it up.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, Pete, any other words or last final thoughts or anything of that nature?
As always, protect your people, man. Protect your people. Love on your people. Tell your people that you love them. Let them know.
That really plays into the Bible verse, a quote of the week, is coming from 1 John chapter 4, verse 19, and it's plain and simple. We love each other because he loved us first.
Yeah, it is.
We love each other because he loved us first. That's how we know how to love, because he taught us how. So take that with you wherever you go. Meditate on it. And like I told you before, Pete, I've got a little yellow, sticky on my mirror in the bathroom, and I've got 5 of them really, but one of them says less judgment, more love.
Yes,
So
sir.
that's what I try to do. All right, folks. Well, that's it. Thank you so much for tuning in to another edition of Our Voice 360, Our Perspectives, Our Ways. Take care, be blessed, and we are out.
Peace.
If you enjoyed this podcast, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel so you can be notified when a new show drops. Please rate and review this podcast and share it with your friends. Also, if you'd like to advertise or become a sponsor, please send an email to ourvoice360@gmail.com with your inquiry. We'll connect with you as soon as possible in hopes of creating a great partnership. And as always, thank you for tuning in to Our Voice 360, our perspectives, our way, keeping you in the know while you're on the go. See you next week.